Hiya, and welcome to Dupliart, where I take the duplicate items we find during our Blind Bag Hags unboxing gallimaufries and art with them. Recently, we found a duplicate ice clops in the Grumblies Mini-Axe mystery pack. I knew right away he needed an icy spot to live, and my mind went right to glaciers. To start, I wrapped a wood dowel slightly thicker than a pencil with aluminum foil and secured it with painter's tape. I mixed Sculpey Premo Opal and glow-in-the-dark clay together. The glaciers I've seen all seem to glow underneath. Since the opal clay is basically translucent clay mixed with iridescent glitter, I thought mixing it with the glow-in-the-dark clay might give it an interesting effect under the translucent clay I would be putting over it later. I then ran this mix through the pasta machine on the middle setting. I covered the dowel and used the pencil to gauge the length I needed. I wanted it a bit longer than the pencil so that the point won't touch the bottom of the holder. I put a thumbtack at each end so when I put it in the baking sheet they will rest over the side so my clay doesn't sit on the baking sheet and go flat on one side or possibly scorch.
Whoa, no touchy! No touchy! No touch.
And now it's off to the oven at 265 degrees for 15 minutes.
Okay, bye.
Once the tube was slightly cooled after coming out of the oven, I twisted it and pulled it off the dowel. I mixed opal clay with some translucent clay and then added some ice blue mica powder and blue glowing powder to create the glacial color, and roughed it out on a ceramic tile. By mushing it out on the tile, the clay stuck to it, which let me pick up the piece easier when sculpting. And once it's baked, the clay will pop off easily. Then I got the idea to put in a wall since I didn't want just a single spiky looking tower thing. That's when I got the idea for the second tube. I didn't really have a plan going into this. I kind of just was winging it. That's the whole point of these challenges, so to speak, with the duplicates, is to kind of just let my creativity flow. I also use this as an opportunity to begin twitching. So if you'd like to see when I art and see how crazy my process can get, please follow me. From another project, I had some frost white glitter clay and translucent clay already mixed together, so I used this to cut out ledges, and I was going to use it for icicles to add a whole lot more detail, as you will see. Seriously? I'm sensing a developing pattern. I constructed the second tube much the same as the first, wrapping it around the dowel and baking it for 15 minutes. I also decided to add a creepy cave mouth opening thing. I was kind of thinking along the lines of like Hoth or something. I think it turned out okay. Looks very creepy by the end. Once the second tube had cooled, I had to cut a place out for it to fit. And then using the transparent clay, I adhered that all in and started to build up with a whole lot of icicles and ledges. Sasha! Get off that... No! Come on. No! So it got to the point it was getting very difficult to hold the piece where I could both sculpt and not mush what I had already sculpted. So I decided it was a good time to go ahead and bake it to firm everything up. Before baking, I dusted everything with white iridescent mica powder to give it more sparkle. And it's back to the oven. Come on, you don't really want to see my oven. Once it was cool, it was back to the icicles and ledges. I decided to build a winding path up to where I was going to put the ledges. For the top ledges, I added a base in the blue clay mix and put a thick layer of frost white mix on top. With my tools, I pushed up the blue into the white and pulled the white out and over the blue, like the snow over the edge. I shaped out cones of the white clay to create snowdrifts on both ends, using plenty of translucent clay to attach. I wiped it all down with alcohol to clean away any dirty spots or fingerprints in the white clay, and again I dusted the whole thing down with iridescent mica powder before baking. And then I got an idea to take some of the translucent clay and drip it off the sides of the ledges to create icicles. And it's back in the oven for the last time. Now that it's out of the oven, you can see that it's stuck to the tile, but I just used my straight edge to pop it off. Next, I mixed blue UV resin with white UV resin to darken up the mouth of the cave and around the edge of it. While I had it under the UV light, I mixed blue glow powder in with clear resin because I wanted to enhance the glow that was already in the clay. Unfortunately, that effect doesn't show up on camera afterwards, but it did work. It's very subtle. I used a brush to go over all the blue areas with this mixture. By putting it on thickly, the resin will naturally level itself, although it doesn't really matter since this surface is highly textured. It's not really going to matter or show. And then I used white UV resin from Sophie and Toffee and dripped it over the edge of the ledges to create even more icicles. Then it's out in the sun for about 30 minutes to let this layer set. I then went back over the whole thing with just clear resin and set it back outside. And make sure you turn the piece while it's in the sun to get maximum exposure. I left the piece alone overnight, and the next day I took cotton fluff and rolled it into small balls and shoved it down into the bottom of the tubes. That way when you put a pencil in, it won't break the tip off when it hits the bottom. I really think these guys are happy in their new home, even though they don't look it. I like how the tubes don't stand straight. It gives it a little bit more character. If you like this video, please hit like. You can check out my other links down below to my website. And if you'd like, come catch me on Twitch. Thanks and see you later.